Is it there now?
Can you hear us, Councillor Goss? We can't hear you.
Is he on mute? You on mute, buddy? No. Try again. No, can't hear you. Ward, you want to get off and get on again, see if that fixes it? Oh. Technical difficulties. Where's my agenda? There it is. All right. Trina, you can do that proclamation, you don't mind, yeah? Thank you. Thought you would. Okay. Good evening, everybody. I will call our regular public council meeting for Monday, July 18th, 2022 to order. New business for the agenda. Councilor Tapper? All right. Councilor Appleby?
Thank you.
Councilor Goss?
I'm good.
Okay. Deputy Mayor?
Thank you.
Okay, and I got, thanks, 12/8/15. Councilor Manning is regrets. Councilor Pollard, same. Anything else, Councilor Tapper?
On the agenda?
Yeah.
Yes, I'd like to recommend to make a motion to the effect.
Well, you don't have to make motion. Is your microphone on?
Oh, yeah, that because both our director and our committee chair are not here, that we defer the full planning report, committee report.
There's some echo or something that you've got there.
Yeah, hang on now. Where's mute?
But I think with the beat,
Yeah, there's an echo.
Yeah, okay. So we'll just strike that from the agenda? Okay,
Thank you.
but isn't there,
all
Should
right.
we make that a motion, Mayor?
No, it's an adjustment to the agenda, so we're gonna adopt the
Oh.
agenda.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right, all in favor?
All right.
no, he's got because there's one in there that we've got to approve tonight. And there was no discussion on it.
What one?
You're talking about the plot, about the stage down, isn't that in there for a motion as well?
That's it.
No, it's in the community hall minutes.
Okay, but I thought that was part of the planning as well. Okay.
Mayor seconded that.
Adoption of the agenda.
Oh, it's the agenda?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was trying to figure out the audio.
Okay,
I'll
motion
second.
to adopt the agenda as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
We're off to a flying start.
Carried.
Off to a good start.
All right, thank you. All righty then. We got a set of public council meeting minutes from June 13th. Could I get a motion to adopt those, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved, seconded. Errors or omissions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right. Conflict of interest.
Mayor, I know there's no motion on it tonight, but I just want to note under the Infrastructure and Public Works on the multi-capital year discussion, one of the streets in there is Robin Place. And my children live part-time at a home on that street. So I don't have any financial interest in it, but my children may. And I have asked CAO and staff to look into it to see if there's been any previous, I've asked the question before, but there's no motion on record about me regarding that issue.
Okay.
And the reason I'm raising it now is that if there's gonna be any discussion at committee around roads go forward, the tendering, any of that stuff, I did see some emails on it the last month. I just wanna ask council, what should I do? Should I step out of any discussions and flag it so Brian can engage an alternate for next meetings until there is a motion, or what direction should I take from council on that? Because I don't want to take any chances that I'm participating in a conversation I should not.
Right.
And there were just some emails around what happens around that with tendering, and where that street is one of those that may or may not be done this year. I just wanted to flag it and ask for direction. What do I do with that, please?
All right. Can we deal with that now, Don? So, to me, it's not your private residence. So, if there's no application from that residence, this is one of those things that's in the common. So, to me, I don't see any conflict there, but,
Can I ask for a motion just to have that solidified, please, for the record?
well,
And that way it's on
Yeah.
record then?
we could put a motion and have discussion on it. Could I get a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
seconded. So do you have any comment or?
No, I think you're absolutely right, you know, you're, exempt.
Yeah, anyone else?
Yeah, well, I don't see how you would be in conflict. I mean, the road is being repaved or some work done to it, so I'm fine.
Okay, all right. Ward? Okay, all right, so, all in favor that Councillor Eckley is not in conflict with regards to the roads report to do with Robin Place?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. So there.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it.
Could I just mention another conflict of interest I might be involved with?
Yep.
The performance stage is going to come up in maybe one or two committee reports. But since and that's put forward by the Folk Arts Council, Torbay Folk Arts Council, and I'm a director on that, so I'd like to step out and
Yeah, I
voice
think
that.
that, I
Yeah.
think you should
Yeah.
in that case. We'll do that when that comes up.
Okay, and talking about that, I should note in there about the water allocations policy. There's no motion, but again, that's
Yeah,
something that I would be.
There is a motion coming forward on that.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So at that point, you can step
Yeah.
out for that. All right. Conflict.
Uh,
And I might as well tell everybody that I'm on the food bank board now, so if we have to make a decision around the food bank, that I'll have to be removing myself for that.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
All right. So, moving on, proclamations, presentations, Q&A. Oh, I forgot to ask George the agenda, if there was anybody here who wanted to be on the first Q&A session. You did? Okay. Can I get your name, please?
Gerald Duggan.
Gerald Duggan. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, that's fine. So, all right, so we'll do these proclamations first. Proclamation for Pride Week, Councillor Epstein.
Thank you, Worship. Okay, Pride Week is from July 15th to 24th, 2022. St. John's Pride, a nonprofit volunteer-run organization that serves the 2SL LGBTQIA+ community, has announced St. John's Pride Week 2022 to be July 15th to July 24th. In unification with the city, the town of Torbay also wishes to honor Pride Week in our town to recognize and celebrate contributions and diversity of the 2SL LGBTQIA+ people and all members of our community. Whereas the town of Torbay is raising awareness and understanding of the 2SL LGBTQIA+ community while promoting equity, inclusivity, and a greater acceptance of diversity. Whereas the town of Torbay strongly supports the 2SL LGBTQIA+ people within our community, regionally, nationally, and internationally, and strongly protest discrimination and violence. Whereas the town of Torbay promotes dignity, equal rights, self-affirmation. Pride Week is a means to increase awareness of the issues of the 2SL LGBTQIA+ people in our community. Whereas the town of Torbay is celebrating Pride Week to honor our 2SL LGBTQIA+ community and encourage residents to commit to continuing awareness, inclusion, and acceptance of all members of our community, regardless of orientation, gender identity, ability, class, race, age, and beliefs.
Therefore, I, Craig Scott, Mayor of the town of Torbay, being an all-inclusive community, do hereby proclaim the week of July 15th to the 24th, 2022 as Torbay Pride Week, and encourage all residents to take note of this week, get involved, participate, and support the many St. John's Pride events taking place, and celebrate our community accordingly. So moved.
Second.
Comments?
I will if I can.
Right.
It's a great pleasure to be asked to make this proclamation. Many of my family members, friends, and close people in my life identify in many different ways. And I love them just for being who they are. And I really do believe in my province, in my country, in my town, everybody should have the right to be who you are. bring your authentic self forward and show up and let the world see the beautiful person that you are, however you identify. And if you're a child, if you're an adult, whoever you are, you should have a space, and that space should be available to you in our community. So it's with my great pride and my whole heart bursting that I'm glad to see our town, my town, make sure that everybody hears from us that we're here to support them. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? I will mention that even though this references St. John's Pride, we do have a Pride event here in Torbay in July 23rd, I believe, Don, at the History House Museum. So if anybody is interested in going to that, please feel free. I'll probably see you there. And with that, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We'll get a picture of that later on. Where am I? Presentations. 2022 Torbay Youth Entrepreneur Program. Papers everywhere. So I'll just give a little blurb about this, and as not as much of a presentation. It's I guess a recognition of what we have done. So the 2022 Torbay Youth Entrepreneur Program. Congratulations to all the students who participated in this year's Youth Entrepreneur Program. In previous years, the town partnered with Holy Trinity High School for Dragon's Den style business enterprise program. This year, we expanded on this to create a youth entrepreneur program with a goal to involve all 3 schools in Torbay. For Holy Trinity High, a total of 6 students presented their business plans to a panel of judges. They used PowerPoint presentations, visual boards, and their written plans to share their ideas. The winners were announced at the end of the school year within the school. All students received participation certificates, and checks were presented to the winners. Kudos and congratulations to all 6 high school students for presenting and participating. Andrew Kavanagh, Jack Waterman, Nicholas Smith, Eric Head, Ryan Woolridge, and Jaden O'Brien. Congratulations to Jaden O'Brien, who received first place for her business plan, Solutions Tutoring Service, where Jaden offers a hybrid model of in-person and online tutoring, including getting involved in the Tutor for Tuition program. Congratulations to Jack Waterman, who received second place for his business plan, Waterman's Firewood, where Jack sells bundled Kindle splits and now has expanded his business to include the sale of seafood. And congratulations to Nicholas Smith, who received third place for his business plan, Smith's Training, where Nicholas hopes to one day offer premium private baseball training and coaching. In addition to the Holy Trinity High School participation, a total of 9 students from Juniper Ridge submitted essays about their favorite Torbay businesses. Winners were also announced in the school at the end of the year. All students received their certificates, and Deputy Mayor Thorngoss presented checks to the winners. Kudos and congratulations to all 9 Juniper Ridge students: Noah Cornick, Rachel Esco, Sophie Burke, Noah Hopkins, Mishka Cornick, Lauren Horlick, Hannah Horlick, Erica McGrath, and Claire Sutton. Congratulations to Noah Hopkins, who received first place for his essay entitled "A Traditional Coffee House in Delhi," sharing his love for local business and why he keeps returning. Congratulations to Hannah Horlick, who received second place for her essay entitled "The Traditional Coffee House in Delhi," my favorite, who shared many reasons why this business was her absolute favorite. And congratulations to Sophie Burke, who received third place for her essay entitled "Foodland," who shared her positive experiences visiting Foodland as a young shopper. Although no submissions for this year's program were received by Holy Trinity Elementary, we will continue to support and grow entrepreneurial spirit within all 3 schools and look forward to this partnership next year. So this is something that I really look forward to every year. I know Councillor Tapper, when he was mayor, he was over to the high school for this program, and I was deputy mayor, went over this year and really enjoyed it. And you know, it's great for the town to be able to reach out to these young people and get them involved in the community and have I guess, entrepreneurial spirit. And you know, hopefully one day we'll see them opening their business within the town and just doing everything to make Torbay a better place to live. So congratulations to all of them, and it's nice to be able to recognize them.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, can we get,
Go ahead.
can we get that noise shut down? I'm not sure what it is.
All right. Can everybody hear me okay? All right. If not, I'll talk louder. So we have one more presentation, and this is the Chief McGrath Awards. And a number of years ago, we got together with the town of Flat Rock, and we were looking for a way that we could honor and recognize the contribution that Chief Mike McGrath has made to the town of Torbay through the fire department and endless volunteer hours that he's put in. And I think that when he retired in December, he was just shy of 48 years, Karen. That's a long time to, and commitment to put in something. And I think that we couldn't have chose a better person to do this award in name of. And I'll just give you a quick rundown of what it is. So we did the award ceremony in Flat Rock a few weeks ago. And unfortunately, Abby couldn't be there at the time, but she's coming in here now tonight to get her award. So Chief McGrath Awards is a program that the town is proud to partner with the Torbay Volunteer Fire Department to recognize leadership, commitment, community involvement, dedication, and selflessness by youth throughout the communities of Torbay and Flat Rock. The Torbay Volunteer Fire Department was formed in 1974, is operated by dedicated volunteers who give freely their time and energy to serving the communities of Torbay and Flat Rock. One of the founding members who had served on the organization for over 47 years and former Fire Chief Mike McGrath served with the department, offering leadership, support, and dedication to the department since its inception in 1974, and recently retired from the department after his many years of service this past December. The Chief McGrath Awards were created to honor and create a spotlight on youth in both communities who are involved in various community groups and activities, devote time to volunteer initiatives, and go above and beyond, showcasing those leadership qualities that Chief McGrath has showcased and provided to the exceptional fire department team over the years. A call for nominations for the Chief McGrath Awards occurred during April 4th to May 9th, and winners were chosen by a selection committee who reviewed all nominations fairly and diligently. Each youth that has been selected will be gifted the Chief McGrath Award, consisting of a personalized plaque, a check, and their name placed on the yearly plaque, which will be showcased featuring the names of both past and future recipients of the award. So, in the absence of the opportunity to present Abby with her award, I will just say a few words. Abigail Hammond is a grade 12 graduate recipient, junior leader with Girl Guides of Canada, served on district camp committee with Girl Guides, and like I said, the other winner was presented and held in June. It was Olivia Barrett. She's a grade 4 student. So you're going to see Abby here tonight, and you're going to also see her all around all summer because she's one of our youth ambassadors with the Torbay Folk Arts Council. And when I saw her up at the History House when we had opening day, she had this huge big fiddle. I said, oh, how's she going to lift that? Well, apparently it's a cello, not a fiddle. But she can play it, I tell you. And it's not something, I guess, that you would associate with folk music, but I guess it is, because I watched the documentary the other night on a bunch of folk music, and it's very prevalent. So I'm looking forward to hearing you pound that thing out all summer long, and I guess I'll get up now and give you your award. So, also, and I'm sure everybody can hear me, Chief McGrath is here tonight, but his wonderful wife Karen, who also put in 48 years, is here to present Abby with her award on his behalf.
Just pass.
Congratulations, Abby.
Congratulations, Abby.
And,
I'll shake your hand.
and thank you for all that you do with your volunteering. And this is your check. And this is your award, really nice. Now, let me just lay this down. Let me hold on to that for you. And you get in between me and Karen. Hold on to this.
That one's
Congratulations.
That's awesome.
See you later.
guys. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Karen, can you give them that? Please? Thanks. See, your
I'm of
volunteers
service.
and never ends. Thank you. All right, now, where am I? Q&A. Mr.
Duggan.
Duggan, if you want to get up to the microphone there, you can.
I'm grappling with a hip replacement. Mind if I kept seated?
Okay.
Okay. I'm here representing Mr. Jerome Cody.
Yep.
And Mr. Cody, unfortunately, his schedule would not permit him to be here tonight. He sends his regrets and apologies. He asked me to put forward a couple of points pertinent to a motion that's on the agenda for tonight's meeting.
Yeah, that motion's been removed, just so you know. That whole planning report has been deferred.
So, well, then my points would be rather moot at this point, so it will be dealt with at a future meeting. Is that
Yeah,
what I understand?
And I think that council will discuss before that happens, because I know that I was talking to Mr. Cody, and I know other members of council were speaking with him and some other people that were affected by some of the motions in that report,
Okay,
that they would like to have a meeting, and we're gonna see if we can facilitate that.
okay, well, we'll, depending on, you know, what the council decides to do, we'll
Yeah.
do this at another date when it's more appropriate.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
Okay.
fair. But thank you for coming. You can stay, you don't have to leave.
Yeah.
But, and, yeah, I mean, that's the reason we did that. And I never really had an opportunity to kind of tell you that before. I was waiting for Jerome to walk in, so I, mentioned to him, but it is what it is. It was good.
Well, I enjoyed your presentations in any event.
Okay, well, there you go. That's, at least you take something good out of this meeting. Alrighty, now, where am I? Piece of paper with stuff written on it. Oh, there it is. All right, mayor's report. I'm gonna quickly run through this. As I just mentioned, on July 16th, we did Chief McGrath Awards in Flat Rock. July 17th, we had senior staff recognition here at the town of Torbay. July 19th, Family Day at the Commons. That was kind of the start of our Torbay 50 celebrations. I've attended a couple of Torbay 50 committee meetings over the past little while. It's been a month since we had a meeting, so I've been really busy, and but I'm not going to talk about all that stuff. On July 1st, we had a wonderful day with our starting with our sunrise ceremony, and then our breakfast, and then our Memorial Day service and our Canada Day stuff. So it was a full day. July 2nd, we finally had our History House grand opening, and that was a very well attended event. You'll hear about that more in the Heritage Committee report when that comes up. July 3rd, we had our very first seniors tea party at the History House. Myself and Deputy Mayor were there running around flat out delivering tea and having chats. It was a wonderful time, and it's a great facility. I was always wondering how many people were going to be able to get in there, and we sat 60 people upstairs at the History House and one room downstairs for tea and desserts supplied by Traditional Coffee House in Delhi. So it was very nice, and the people really enjoyed it. And there was a lot of people there that weren't from town Torbay. So when we talk about we want to be regional in our approach to History House and to Torbay Common and these type things, it's nice to see people coming from the city of St. John's, from CBS, from Paradise, from Flat Rock, Puchco, Balding, everywhere. You are welcome to come here, and we love to see you. So that's all I got to say about that. It was a wonderful time, thank you for everybody who worked on it. Birthdays. All right, for the month of August, got a whole slew of them. My name, yeah. Councillor Rhonda Manning, it's birthday, no, she's not here. Oh, the mayor's birthday is coming up on August 10th. If anybody got any, wants to send me any presents or anything, I'm on 441 Bali line. Wayne Cole, happy birthday and happy retirement, Wayne. Thank you for all the years that you put in with the town. It's okay now to talk about that, right? Well, it's too late now. I did it. Who else we got? Ann Pico, happy birthday, Ann, when it comes. Kim Osmond in Corporate Services, happy birthday, Kim. And Kirk Cobden, who was just here, happy birthday, Kirk. He works in our Recreation and Community Services Department over at the Common. So if you see him in the next, any time this month, because his birthday's on the 31st, wish him happy birthday. All right, that's it. That's it for my mayor's report. I'm sure that we'll be seeing lots of people throughout the community over the next couple of months as our Torbay 50 celebrations are into full swing, and there's lots of activities going on for everybody. So don't hesitate, get out, enjoy it, and have fun, and you know, take advantage of the community that you're living in. All right. Any questions on any of that? Perfect. Any business arising for the minutes? No? All right, correspondence. So we have correspondence here regarding Wallberry Lane subdivision from Duffy Law Office. We will forward that on to planning. We have a correspondence here from Municipal Assessment Agency. Update on the Municipal Assessment Agency. We will forward that on to Corporate Services. All right. We have a resident correspondence regarding the food bank. And basically, it's just encouraging the council to try and help the food bank out with regards to them looking for a new location. So we will
Hold that for committee of the whole at the appropriate time.
Perfect, thank you. And we have a update here from Team Perry, who are a young curling team that the town sponsors. And they just sent us a full breakdown of what they have done this year. And they've had a tremendous year themselves. And one of their members, Nicholas Codner, had an even more tremendous year, being the youngest curler ever to throw a rock at the Briar as a member of Team Young when they went. Team Young is another curling team that the town sponsors, and Nathan Young lives here in Torbay. So I do know, I heard that Team Perry is going to be at our sports presentation or reunion. So if anybody, that is going to be on July 23rd from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock at Torbay Common. And come along and get to see what's going on in the town and who's playing sports and who's doing what. And I think it's great to be able to recognize these young athletes and encourage them to keep doing what they're doing, and it's nice for the town to be able to be part of it. So that's just there for information purposes. Any questions? No? Good, okay. Committees of council. Committee of the whole minutes, June 28, 2022. All right, could I get a motion to adopt those, please? Or,
Is that
hang
the
on, we gotta
one-
go through them first. There's a couple of motions in there we gotta do. Do we have to do those, Don? Yes. Okay. Who's gonna take you wanna take the lead on these, Ralph, or Mary? Deputy Mayor?
I got to walk out for one of them. Isn't that one of the ones
Not
that,
in this,
that's the next set?
not in this one.
Okay.
So,
So we're looking at the one for the 28th?
yep. Two
Okay.
motions.
this one that I'm here, though, that's committee, okay. Mayor called meeting at 6:32, Human Resources.
Yep, that's the one.
Capital Asset Mapping Technologists, CAO confirmed that the Capital Asset Mapping Technologists recommended candidate was Jonathan Pelly, and he will commence his role on the 18th, so he started today. Got two motions here. The Town of Torbay changed the employment status of Mark Whalen, Director of Human Resources, from contract to full-time, permanent, effective June 22nd, 2022, subject to the successful completion of the Director's performance evaluation. So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Comments, questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Move that the Town of Torbay change the employment status of Noah Moore, Manager of Heritage, Culture, and Information Services, from contract to full-time permanent, effective August 18, 2022, subject to the successful completion of the manager's performance evaluation. So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Performance evaluations, CAO reported to council at the status of the evaluations for the probationary staff, and council discussed the upcoming second quarter 2022 fiscal review.
Okay.
And that's the end of that. Anybody got any questions?
Thank
Okay,
you.
I'd just like to congratulate Mark and Noah for their permanent tenure with the town. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Yes.
And we have to adopt the minutes, so could I get a motion to adopt those minutes, please?
so moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. Now we got a committee to hold meeting minutes for June, this little window popped up.
July
June-
6th.
July 6th, sorry. Let's see what's in those ones.
And Ralph got to, well, the two of us are in that one. So I'll take the first half, and
Sure.
Ralph
Okay,
can take the other part.
Actually, before we do that, is there any issue where this is Federation of Key Municipalities and I'm a board member? Should
this-
we,
this is just
Will we have
applying
a
for,
quorum?
this is just applying for an FCM program.
She leaves?
You don't have any say in that?
I don't think any of us can do that.
For that one, for the FCN, they'll have a form, if Councilor Appleby is confirmed to step away. The performance stage at the beach, Councilor Tackle will step away, we'll have a form for that. And then the water allocation, we'll have a form if the
Okay.
mayor steps away, but we will not have form to adopt the minutes, because Councilor Tackrank and Deputy Mayor will have to.
Okay, but we can still pass the motion.
Correct, yes.
so I'm going to declare a conflict for the FCM
Okay.
motion, as I'm a board member with FCM,
All right.
just to be clear and transparent, make sure there's absolutely no potential for conflict.
Sure.
I don't think that there's a conflict. I mean, I'm going to ask council under section 209 to decide for me, just to be sure and have that firmed up.
Okay.
But I think I want to step away from that one, just because I'm a board member and it's an incorporated board.
All right, so can I get a motion to that effect? That, guess, doesn't matter. You can put a motion forward that Councillor Appy is in conflict or that she's not in conflict. Put one, she doesn't feel that you're in a conflict.
I don't feel that I'm in a conflict, but because I'm not sure where I'm in. The act says that if you are a member sitting on an incorporated board,
Yeah,
that you should step away from a vote. So
okay,
because of that, I'm a board member, on that board, I just think, again, I don't know, so it's better to ask the question, have the council decide, and then.
probably with that in mind, it's probably best that you do step out for this one. You think? Somebody put forward a motion and we can talk about it.
Yeah, I just wanna, have a motion under 209 to protect me, and
Okay.
then whichever which way it goes.
I'll move that Councillor Appleby step out,
Thank you,
just in case of conflict.
All right,
thank you.
get a seconder, please?
Second.
Seconded. Yeah, I mean, you're right, it does talk about being a member of a board or whatever, so in fairness, I know that there's no financial gain to you by this, but I think that, in my opinion, it'd be better if you did step out for this one.
Thank you.
Have we got, Don, do you have that section 209 so that we can, if that's what you're saying, so that we know what we're voting? Like, I'm just looking at it, I guess, with regards to, for the financial, what Trina is mentioning, because I guess what we'll be doing is setting a precedent either way. That's what I'm more concerned about.
So it's under, goes from 207 to 208.
She's saying
209,
209.
right?
Yeah.
So 209 does say where councillor is in doubt as to whether he or she has a monetary interest that is a conflict under 207. He or she shall make a disclosure, and the council may decide by majority vote, and his decision is final. So 207 says the councillor shall not vote on or speak to a matter before the council or a committee of council where the council has a monetary interest in the manner distinct from an interest arising from his or her functions as a councillor. The councillor has a monetary interest directly or indirectly in the matter. A relative of the councillor has a monetary interest in the matter, or D, and this is what the mayor is referencing in Councillor Appleby, the councillor is an officer, employee, or agent of an incorporation or unincorporated company or other association of persons that has a monetary interest in the matter. Subsection 2 then outlines family members for the purpose of subsection 1. A relative of the councillor means father, mother, spouse, cohabitating partner, sister, brother, child, stepchild, ward, mother-in-law, father-in-law, sister-in-law, or brother-in-law of the council. For the purpose of subsection 2, cohabitating partner means a person with whom a councillor is living in a conjugal relationship outside marriage, and spouse means a person to whom a councillor is married unless the person and the councillor have made a separation with other support obligations, and family property have been dealt with by court order. In order, subsection 4, in order for an interest to be considered as one falling within the prohibition set out as subsection 1, it shall be an interest distinct from an interest held in common with the other citizens or classes of citizens of the municipality. So the relevant section would be 207(1) D. Councillor Appleby sits as an officer on the board of directors for the Federation.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Board, you got any questions? Good. Okay, all in favor? That
Aye.
Councillor Appleby is in the
It's in.
conflict? Okay.
So I'll step out,
Opposed?
and
Mhm.
Yep,
when you're ready, just like.
thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, the Director of Corporate Services provided an overview of the grant application as it pertains to the town asset management plan. And it was a motion moved by Councillor Tapper, second by Councillor Manning. So I just go through this read the whole thing out. Be resolved that the town, Torbay Town Council directs staff to apply for a grant opportunity from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Municipal Asset Management Program for the Capital Asset Inventory Linear Assets Project. Be therefore resolved that the town of Torbay commits to conducting the following activities in its proposed project submitted to the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Municipal Asset Management Program to advance our asset management program. Asset management inventory, conversion of as-built drawings to digital formats, acquisition of the licensed ESRI software, and acquisition of survey equipment. Be it further resolved that the town of Torbay commit $53,131 from its budget towards the cost of this initiative. In favor, 5, against 0.
I don't read that part.
Okay,
We're gonna vote on it now.
motion, okay, carried, okay.
Okay, moved, seconder,
Second?
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Okay.
Thank you. Now, the next one is about the Torbay Beach, so we'll get Councillor Appleby back in. and
So, yeah, Ralph can tell her to come back.
Councillor Pepper. I don't think we need to vote on that, it's pretty clear cut. All right, just do the motion, Mary.
Okay, the performance stage at the Torbay Beach, which is being discussed for some time. It was moved by Councillor Pollard, second by Deputy Mayor Thorngoss, that the town of Torbay approve Concept 1 for the Folk Arts Council performance platform at Torbay Beach at a cost of $13,500. So moved.
Moved. Seconder?
I'll second it, sorry.
Seconded. Don, did we get a revised figure on that, or is that still the same number?
That's the estimate we had discussed. There is one for 11,000.
Okay. All right, so it's probably gonna come in less than that?
It will come in less.
All right, okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments?
I do. Just to note, and I think it's important for the public to know on this one, there's been a lot of work leading up to this motion. There has been work done to make sure that that land is not somebody else's land, that we, made sure there's any environmental impacts and assessments. Like the town did a comprehensive review leading up to getting this in place to make sure that we had done our homework to get this right. And I do believe that this is going to be a great asset and contribution to the beach area. It's one of the most beautiful areas of our town. So I'm looking forward to seeing this happen and the events continue down there. It's a great part of what we do. But I just think it's important that people understand that there has been a lot of background work done and consultation to make sure that we got this right. Thank you.
Absolutely. Sometimes we think we can get things done like that, but, it takes due diligence to make sure that we're doing things correctly, so point noted.
Yeah.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Okay,
Councillor Tapper comes back.
So you can,
well, we gotta get him.
yeah, you
Well,
can,
you can touch on the other things that are in there.
sure. Well, you
Um,
can get them, I'll get them.
Just think that it's worth mentioning that Mayor Scott was elected to the Northeast Avalon Food Bank Board of Directors in the recent annual general meeting. And that's it. I'll leave.
All right, thank you. All right, and I guess just so people are aware, the deputy mayor is directly impacted by the water allocation policy as presented, so that's why she stepped out. And it's over to you, Councillor Tapper. So we get a motion here?
Yep.
Where is it?
Move that the town of Torbay adopt a water allocation policy as presented. It's in your package.
Oh, okay. Seconder?
Hold on here now, let me just have a look. Okay, second, sorry.
Seconded. Any comments?
I have a comment.
Okay.
I just want to make a point for the record that the public package stated that there was a motion on this and that there was a decision in the council.
That was an error.
Yeah, and it was an error. And I think it's a good example, though, to bring forward, concerns that I've raised about making motions in committee of the whole. And I just want to make the point that in our rules and procedures that we have adopted, we have a note that says, if there is something pressing that we want to move forward, and a perfect example would be the beach, platform for the Torbay 50, that we have the special public meeting and make sure that we have it done in the public chamber, and that we're not having discussions at the committee hall and then adopting them afterwards. So I'll refer that to whichever committee needs to look at that around the rules and procedures and how we do our business. But I just wanted to clarify where it was in public, that there was a motion and then there was a vote that I participated in that I hadn't, and I just want to make sure that it's clear for the record.
Yep.
And that I ask that we look at how we do that go forward. That's all. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, any other comment? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Don, I have a question about the minutes. Now that there's nothing being decided in the minutes, can we not adopt them, same as we do public council minutes next week? Because you're not making the decision, you're just adopting minutes, right? Or should we?
No, I think we
Hold on.
should defer them until Councillor Pollard and Councillor Manning are back. And
Okay.
then,
All right,
because there are actions, requested actions or approval of actions, so I
Yep.
wouldn't want anyone to get.
okay,
out of anything.
fair enough. All right. Now, where am I? All right,
Okay.
so skip past planning, land use development, pretend it's not there, because it was
Mayor,
moved.
did we need a motion to defer adopting those committee hall meeting minutes until next
I
council?
just talked to Don about that,
Yeah, but do you need a
and
motion?
because we had some people had to remove for conflict, namely 1, 2, 3,
Right,
we don't have a quorum for to be able to adopt them otherwise.
absolutely. The question I have is, do we have to have a motion to defer till the next meeting? Is that required? I'm not sure.
There's
Just
not
asking.
enough?
But there's not enough to have a motion. before,
Right,
Right?
right,
So
okay.
they'll come back
Yeah,
yeah,
public meeting.
okay, thanks.
okay, all right. Admin and human resources, Deputy Mayor.
Okay. So, all right. We had our meeting on July 6th. And recruitment, I've already mentioned about Jonathan Pelly has accepted the capital asset mapping technologist position. Competitive process is underway for this, okay, no, don't need to go there. Business continuity policy, Director of Human Resources is currently working with all members of committee and the CEO and the development of that policy. Performance Management Director is currently working with all members of committee and the CEO and development of the town's performance management policy. And total compensation and benefits gap analysis findings, he's working the same along there. 2022 to 25 strategic planning session is scheduled for Wednesday night. Is that still a goal? We have everybody? Okay.
No, I won't be there.
And Councillor Pollard.
Well, can we have that? Because that's what I was thinking about, Councillor Pollard being away. Can we still have it if everybody is not?
Well, I mean,
To next week
there's
at the.
still 5 of you guys to be there, so I'd move forward, I wouldn't.
Talking
hold
about
off.
strategic planning?
Yeah.
I don't think we should move forward unless all of council's there. We're talking about creating a
I know
vision
that.
for the town, the entirety of. I think it's important we're all there.
Yeah, and that's why it's been deferred in the past, because we didn't have everybody. So for the mayor and different people not to be here, I can't see how,
All right, so we'll have to.
personally, anyway, I'm not comfortable unless everybody's here, because it's, to me, it'd be a waste of time.
We're not poll everybody and see
Yeah.
the quickest date.
Yeah,
I think that's a very
Well.
smart move. I fully support the deputy mayor's opinion there.
Mm.
okay. That's fine.
Employee health and wellness, that's something that's, I guess, regular with regards to the staff barbecue at the depot, and the next one in early August. Occupation Health and Safety, various staff members participated in a 2-day first aid training course on June 20th and 21st. Next meeting is on August 9th. Any questions? I'll refer them to Mark.
Okay, is that it?
That's
Can I
it.
just quickly ask the business continuity policy, the performance management policy, and some of the work we're doing around that, I think it's important that we have a conversation about making those policies public. I think it's important that people who are applying for the town, you know, if we're advertising positions and they're applying, they can have a look at it and understand how their performance management is going to be done. It doesn't have to be the absolute nitty-gritty details, but the policy arching, how we're gonna go about that, I think that's important for transparency and accountability. And I also think for business continuity, it's important that, you know, it doesn't have to say who the person is, but the position, who's covering for who, if there's acting, that kind of stuff. I think these are things that are not betraying the confidence of any individual, but it talks about how we as a organization work and look after our staff so that when people are applying for jobs here, they have an idea of what they can expect. So I'll ask that committee consider that as you're developing the policy, and maybe there's some, you know, internal nuances that need to be internal for confidentiality reasons, maybe. But I think the overarching policy should be something that we should have, and maybe a discussion for the committee to consider would be having a part of our website, you know, come work with us at Torbay, here's what's good about us, here's what you can learn, these kind of things would fit there. So I would just ask that as a engagement tool and recruitment tool, maybe we think about, as this work is being done, that some of it gets shared at the right place on our website. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much. Corporate Services Corp, Councillor Tepper.
Okay, we have two committee meeting reports, excuse me, June the 22nd and July the 2nd. What I'll do is read out the committee report, followed by the motions for each of the meetings. There are a number of documents listed as usual. I may refer to some of them as we go through. So we'll start off with the meeting for June 22nd, the report. Regular payroll for 46 employees for a 2-week period ended June 17, 2022, totaling $100,367. Council remuneration for 7 councillors for the 3-month period ending June 30, 2022, totaled $39,282.60. Torbay Volunteer Fire Department honorariums for 8 officers for the 6-month period ending June 30, 2022, totaled $18,995.93. Total Torbay Volunteer Fire Department honorariums for 42 firefighters for the 6-month period ending June 30, 2022, totaled $54,234.56. Accounts payable for the 2-week period ended June 17, 2022, invoices in the amount of $78,156.87 were processed. Invoices for council approval. The following 9 operating invoices totaling $102,466.32 are presented for approval. Invoice June 15, 2022, Lynn Morrissey, Human Resources, $9,890. Invoice 770, Plan Tech Environmental Limited, amend municipal plan and regulations, $7,130. June the 1st to the 15th, 2022, Receiver General, payroll deductions, June 1st to the 15th, $33,046.72. Invoice W0420733241, Tormont Cat, $6,389.46. Invoice June 2022, Trio Benefits, Group Benefits, Premiums, June 2022, 2022, $16,789.21. Invoice 2134189, Triware Technologies, Inc., IT support, $5,750. Invoice 214005, Triware Technologies, Inc., Endpoint User License, $10,977.90. Invoice 20220978, Winco Enterprises Limited, Sports Field Netting, $5,653.40. Invoice G412497, Wood Environmental and Infrastructure Solutions, Water Sampling, $6,839.63. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.
Carried.
Okay, the committee motions for June 22nd. Motion 1, bad debt write-off process. To formalize the write-off policy for uncollectible accounts receivable, the Corporate Services Committee recommends approval for the bad debt write-off policy attached to the motion's report. So moved.
Seconder? Seconded. Comments?
If I could make one.
Go ahead.
I had someone reach out to me and ask what the $50,000 write-off was, and someone who read the package and asked about it. And it's my understanding, I think it's just important for public record, that that is Crown land and it's not something we could tax. So I just want to make sure that I'm clear on that, but also want to make sure that the public understands that, you know, we're not just
Yeah,
saying
no,
that's
that's-
$50,000 we're going to walk away.
That's the next motion you're talking about there, right?
Okay, I thought that was the
This
one.
one
we
is
were-
just to adopt the policy.
Oh,
Am
my
I correct
bad.
on that?
I'm a step ahead.
Okay.
I apologize.
All right.
I apologize.
Okay.
All right.
Don't feel so bad now. You're doing the same thing I'm after doing earlier.
All in favor of adopting the write-off process?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay,
Oh,
back to you, sir.
Okay, motion 2, write-off of uncollectible accounts year-to-date. After review of the accounts receivable records and the reasons for the uncollectability of certain amounts, the Corporate Service Committee recommends the write-off of the following accounts. Account NTB002, amount $1,500.0893. Account NCH001, $500. Account XUS001, $2,951.85. Account TA.011, $50,578.26. And account ITT015, $1,304.98, for a total of $56,844.02. So moved.
Seconder? Moved and seconded. Comments? Now you
I
can
already
make a
made my
comment.
comment.
Oh, okay.
I just think it's important that the public knows that. You know,
Yeah.
it's comforting to me that people do follow what we do. They do read the package and they do come and they ask us questions and they want us to be accountable and transparent. And that was one that I looked at as well and went, what is that? So
Yeah.
I just felt if the question was asked, it was important to bring it up and make sure that it was on public record, that that has been found to be Crown land.
Yeah.
And it's not something that we can tax. That's the reason why it was being written off.
Right. And to further to that point, that is something that property owners have been coming up over the last 8-10 years, ever since Crown Land started to get more diligent in what they're doing. When people go and try and get a clear title on their property, sometimes it turns out that they thought they owned it and they didn't. And it actually turns out to be owned by the Crown, or it could be owned by someone else. So anybody out there, if you got land that you think you own, you better, I'd advise that you get checked out, make sure that you do. Certainly, in most cases, people, they'd be okay, but this is something that comes up from time to time. Any other comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, motion 3, budget reallocation. Due to the unforeseen breakdown of the Muffin Monster and the delays in the provincial approval of the 2022 ICIP projects, the Corporate Services Committee recommends a transfer of the budget allocated for loan payments and the ICIP borrowing, not placed to date, to the capital account for the purchase of the Muffin Monster. 5070-6625 Muffin Monster 51,716. 5437-6610 loan payments North Pond Water Treatment 51,716. So moved.
Moved and seconded. Comments?
Just a quick question. This is just a reallocation of resources waiting for the funding to come in, is that?
Yeah, so,
The
good point.
the ICP awards are not going to be released until November. So we had budgeted loan payments over the course of the year.
Yeah.
So obviously we won't be getting any loans if we don't even know we're getting the project until November.
Right.
So this was funds that we weren't going to otherwise spend.
Right, got it. Thanks, Norm. I just want to make sure that's clear for the public, that's all. Thanks. Yeah.
Comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Motion for sponsorship U13, under 13 softball, I guess. In accordance with the town's donation policy, the Corporate Services Committee recommends a donation of $200 to the Outer Cove U13 female softball team. Torbay players Madison Dwyer, Olivia Byrne, and Caitlin Maynard to assist with travel costs to attend the Eastern Canadian Fast Pitch Championships being held in Fredericton, New Brunswick. So moved.
Moved and seconded. Comments? I'll just say good luck, girls. Hope you win. Have fun, mostly. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Motion 5, Human Resources Expenses. During committee's review of invoices for council approval, it was noted that there were additional HR expenses to be approved at the next public council meeting. An examination of the HR expenditure account indicated that this account was already 627% of the budget expenditure level. It was also noted that there were additional services currently in various stages of completion for which the town will receive invoices shortly. Based upon the services covered in this account, the committee believes that some of the services currently being outsourced can be handled with town staff. An analysis of expenditure levels in all accounts will be provided at the end of the second quarter. In order to provide fiscal controls over human resource consulting expenditures, the committee recommends that no further human resource consulting expenditures be engaged without the prior approval of council. So moved.
Moved, seconded. Questions?
I've got a comment there. This motion is one I'm not going to be able to support. And I looked at and I asked for a printout of the costs here. So I actually have a breakdown of these invoices. And it says there's 627% of the budget expenses over. But when I broke it down, I actually looked it up and calculated it here while we were in the meeting. 2.69% of those costs were costs that could have been looked after by town staff. 97.3% of those costs required, as per current town policy, the engagement of an external HR consultant to come in and do that work. If we pass this motion tonight, what we're saying is for the policies that require that council has the ability to engage a third-party consultant to do the work, we're saying, no, we can't. So we've done an awful lot of work in this organization around wellness, and specifically I'm referring to our Respectful Workplace Policy. And the Respectful Workplace Policy states in it that the mayor has the right and should engage an external consultant to do the work. So what we're saying here now is before we could actually engage that policy, what we'd have to do is have council approve engaging external consultants. And I'm gonna be very honest with you, I can't support that because as a place who is supposed to be working towards the wellness of all, the wellness of our community, the wellness of our council, the wellness of our town, this motion to me says, sorry, we can't use that policy, engage that policy and make it available for council and staff when or if needed. So as a counselor, as a person who's done the work, looked at it, I have the expenses here and I can tell you exactly what they've worked out to be and how that was used. 2.69% of what's invoiced there is work that could have been done by town staff. 97.3% of that $57,899.59 total could not have been done by an internal staff member. So I'm not going to be able to support this motion with the information available to me tonight.
Could I just offer a point of clarification there, Mayor? This matter was actually discussed at a Human Resource and Administration Committee, and it's documented in minutes that any use of external consultants go forward from a staff level would have to come to committee for approval prior to. There are also some items under Respectful Workplace that are currently ongoing that are not completed. So how would this motion impact completing that work?
I think what I would ask is, with the information that I've brought forward this evening and with the questions of the CAO, that we defer this motion, bring it back to committee, ask them to have another look at it, and see where to from here. I understand, I think the spirit of this motion is to say you can't just go engage human resources externally to do the work of our full-time permanent director. And from that perspective, I agree with the spirit of where this motion is intending to go. I would think that maybe we could ask committee to go back and look at what is the scope of what our director is going to do and be responsible for, and have it documented and signed off by council. And then for those other items, as example, the Respectful Workplace policy, where it is required to have an external consultant engaged, that we could then have clear parameters about when you would engage a third party. You know, I understand that engaging consultants is expensive. I understand that we need to have safeguards to make sure that we're protecting the public purse at all times so that our resources are being spent responsibly. But from my perspective on this, I think that there's further discussion required and further quantification of what the role of the HR department is and the director and his staff, and then what the role of an external consultant will be and how it applies to what policies and how that works. Once that's done, I can certainly get behind the spirit of what this is trying to do, but as it's presented right now, I can't vote for it. And I wanted to make sure that it was very clear that of that 627%, 2.69% was actually work that could have been done internally by the town. And I'll leave it at that.
So is that based on information, Councillor Appleby, that you received? Or is that just by you looking at invoices?
So what I did was, as per conversation across council, I reached out to different members of staff when
Yes.
the public package came out.
Okay.
I asked the questions that I had for each department before
Yeah.
I came in of all staff.
Okay.
And when I saw 627% of the budget expenditure level here, I went, there's no way that 627% of that, with the knowledge that I have, would be things that could have been done internally. So I went back and I asked for a breakout of the expenses, and I had them and I looked at them, and by day my job is playing with spreadsheets. So I sat down, I looked at the numbers and did the math and figured out what the percentages are. And like I said, I think that the spirit of what we're trying to achieve with this motion is something that makes sense. It's fiscally responsible. It's somewhere we want to go to make sure that before an external consultant is engaged, if we have capacity in-house and it can be done in-house, it's done. But I think the framework now, we've just hired a full-time permanent HR director, which is amazing, and I feel a very excellent add to our organization. But I feel now that we've got that done, we need to be very clear about the scope of work that that department can do, and then when it's necessary and under what policies we would engage. And I feel it's concerning to me as a member of council, especially with our Respectful Workplace policy and the importance of wellness in the organization, to make sure that motion does not change
You're
that.
making good points, but I got to
I'm done.
I got to stop you
Yeah,
there.
I had 2 or 3.
I would
points.
ask a question though, could you share, email and share with the rest of the council that information that you have, that you received from staff, because I didn't get it.
Absolutely. I'll ask if staff can send that, what was sent to me, out to all of council, so everyone can have a
Alright,
look at what's
okay.
there.
Because I mean, anybody else have any comment?
Yeah,
Well, that's, okay.
no, I just want to say, you know, again, the intent is there.
Yeah, I
And
would-
we got to go on record as saying, because that's a humongous overexpenditure of one account. There's only one account, and we're going to get to the second quarter review shortly. But, you know, of all, and again, it's all to do with legal fees and consulting fees, right? So, you know, how much, of all of the items that came along, how much of that went to the HR committee for approval before it was allocated?
So a point of clarification on what I said though, point of clarification is that what the percentages that I'm referencing here are not legal. The percentages that I'm referencing here are HR expenses only. They're only HR invoices that I'm referencing. So I just want to make sure that's clear
Okay.
for the numbers that I've suggested.
All right, I hear you.
Yeah.
That's where I was going, I guess, to ask where you got the information. I'd like to see a copy of that as well. One of my bigger concerns about this whole thing, while it's probably, it falls back under, there's a fine line between, I guess, the finance and HR, but we've been saying from the beginning, if we're over budget in a particular GL, then where's that funding money coming from? And that's one of my biggest things, because tonight we just approved another $5,000 or $6,000. Where is that going to be covered off from? And as Councillor Tapper just said, the legal in the same area is up there as well. So that's a big concern, and I understand where Councillor Appleby is coming from with regards to human resources be engaged without prior approval, and that interferes with our respectful workplace policy. That's the only thing that I can see in there, but I know it's well intended, but based on that alone, it would have to come back. And Councillor Tapper, I mean, a lot of this, you know, from being part of HR committee, this doesn't come back to HR to be discussed and know when it's happening. So I'll just put that in there as currently a member of the HR committee.
Okay. Anyone else? Ward?
Actually, I will Councillor Tapper says our main goal to this was to shed light on exactly, I guess, where we are on certain items. I do understand that maybe we have to look a little bit closer at this before we make a decision, but it has to be known that our spending in certain areas is out of control, and we need to review it.
Okay. All right, fair enough, thank you.
So are we going to defer this back?
Just after, I'm gonna have a,
Okay, sorry.
Just a second.
Sorry, Mayor.
I completely agree with implementing some changes around how we do this. However, this policy or this that we're gonna adopt cannot supersede any other policies that we have that are HR related, that specifically spell out in them what process is supposed to take place in certain circumstances. And I really don't like talking about HR stuff in the public, but our HR policy, our respectful workplace policy, is on our town website. People can go and look at it, and just they'll infer what they want. But I guess the bottom line is that policy is there for the betterment of members of council, staff, whoever, public, anybody that raises an issue or concern around a HR related thing. And there's rules in there that set out very specifically what steps are to be taken. And it's in compliance with the provincial legislation that's gonna be coming out, so we have to make sure that we don't get ourselves being, I guess, interfering with our own HR policy or running afoul of what's gonna be coming out from the department. So, yeah, I mean, with that in mind, I couldn't support this as it is. I do support the spirit of it and probably deferring it back to committee to look at those particular items that Councillor Epry brought up and the Deputy Mayor and myself, just to make sure that what we're doing is right. Listen, I agree with everything that you're saying there, but I just want to make sure that we don't run afoul of our own policies.
Mayor, what I'd suggest is the two directors, Corporate Services and Human Resources, meet to discuss the matter and then come forth with a recommendation. Then in a committee of Admin, HR, and Corporate Services be arranged to discuss flush out before it comes back to the chamber.
All right, sounds good to me. Back to you, Chair.
Okay. There is the uncollectible accounts.
Hang on now. There's a motion on the table, so
Oh, no, I don't have anything to say. If you want to close debate.
Are we gonna withdraw the motion?
Withdraw,
or
deferred.
defer? Yeah,
we're gonna defer that. Someone want to make a motion to defer?
I'll make a motion to defer.
Seconder,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thanks. Yeah, the uncollectible accounts receivable policy is there for your reading, I'm sure. Is there any questions on that before we move on?
No, it's all good.
Okay, so we move on to the July the 6th meeting for the committee report. Okay, payroll, regular payroll for 54 employees for the 2-week period ended June the 30th, 2022 totaled $103,293.34. Accounts payable for the 2-week period ended June 13, 2022. Invoices in the amount of $468,493.25 were processed. Invoices for council approval. The following 5 operating invoices totaling $62,779.73 are presented for approval. Invoice 175001 GFL Environmental Inc. Spring Cleanup $5,626.10. Invoice 22039 Grand Concourse Authority 2022 beautification $27,500. Invoice 22045 Grand Concourse Authority relocate Kinsman sign $7,514.98. Invoice July the 5th, 2022 Lynn Morrissey HR Consulting $8,653.75. Invoice 909-69508 Stuart McKelvey Appeal North Pond Road Developments $13,484.90. Move for approval.
Moved and seconded.
Can I ask a question about the Stuart McKelvey appeal for North Pond Road Developments? The scope of what that $13,000 entails, is that just prep for appeal? That's not including, because I don't think the appeal has happened yet, so there's the legal time for representing the town during that as well, in addition to the cost of $13,000. Am I understanding that correctly?
That is comprised of almost 16 hours of reviewing documents and preparation for the appeal, and not actually getting to the actual appeal yet. So there will be further invoices on that matter.
So there will be further invoices for the time for legal to actually represent the town as well, in addition to the $13,000. Okay, thank you.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, before I move on,
Opposed? Carried. Carry on.
okay, the invoice number 2022-045, Fundamental Inc., History House Restoration, $37,553.25. I've been asked to remove that one because we've got two separate invoices related to that as well. So I'll just leave this one out and include the other two at the end. Okay, invoice, right-of-way, Bercy Excavating and Development, Inc., right-of-way to the municipal depot, $23,000. Invoice, Torbay number 2, Museum Planners Group, Exhibit Design and Development, $23,052. Invoice 88578, Saunders Equipment Limited, Sidewalk Tractor, $203,427.95. Invoice 88579, Saunders Equipment Limited, Angle Sweeper for the Sidewalk Tractor, $10,120. Invoice 27590, Sports Systems Canada, Gold Frames for the Soccer Pitch, $12,177.35. Invoice G412553, Wood Environmental and Infrastructure Solutions, Water System Upgrades, $9,319.72. Invoice G412564, Wood Environmental and Infrastructure Solutions, Torbay Road Sidewalks, $19,262.50. And I've been asked to include, again, these are related to the History House. Invoice Torbay number 3. It's an invoice for exhibit development interpretation. It's $28,250. And invoice number 22012, it's for interpretive writing and mummer installation. It totals $6,970.73. So the total amount for these 8, or actually it's 9 invoices now, it's $300,359.52. Okay, so I'll move those for payment.
Moved, seconded, questions?
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Why are we taking out the payment for Fundamental Inc., that was the project manager? And then why are we adding these 2 invoices that are coming in today? I'm just not sure why that's happening, so I just
I'll
want to
ask director.
understand.
The Octopus Consulting invoice,
Yeah.
that's the second half of the payment for the Mummer exhibition development. That's up at History House. The Fundamental, they billed us for 100% of their project management fees, which includes the design and installation of exhibits.
Right.
But the invoices that you received here today, MPG Group is actually doing the design and installation of the exhibits based on a tender that we awarded. So we're going to go back to Fundamental and see what portion of their invoices or their fees actually related to that, and then query why we're being charged that by them when they're not actually doing the work.
Okay, so I need a little further understanding there, because my understanding of Fundamental's role is to be the project manager. They are supposed to oversee this sort of stuff, that these invoices are supposed to go through Fundamental, who are then supposed to do the work that we've been invoiced here for, and that's supposed to come through that way. And something's changed
Yes.
where Fundamental, which we approved for, I think it was $125,000 when we approved it a couple of years ago for project management, is not doing the work that they were contracted to do, and someone else is doing it. I'm confused about how that's going down, or even became to be, because we're paying a consultant that kind of money to do the work. I don't know where the change came and who approved the change for that to happen.
The consultant who was doing the design work that was put in place and Fundamental was supervising, they quit back in December. They walked away from their contract.
Right,
So
so
then
we went and hired someone else to do that.
We issued a public tender,
Right,
and MPG was awarded that tender, MPG Group,
okay,
and NOAA is supervising their installation of the exhibits and all the design and the development of the exhibits, and their tender did not go through Fundamental.
okay, so what I understand then, and just because I'm trying to piece it together, what you're telling me is a part of what Fundamental's been approved to do is no longer a part of the scope of work that they're providing to us. So has there been a discussion with Fundamental about when we brought MPG in, what their role was gonna be in taking away from what they're doing to save that, or is that a discussion to be had?
That's a discussion to be had. That's why we're pulling the invoice.
Okay. There's a lot of moving parts here for me, and I'm just looking at it going like, this is, $37,000 worth of invoicing here. That's coming in that was in the public package, and we have a project manager on site. So I'm scratching my head a bit, because my understanding when this went out to tender for MPG, they were just replacing the contractor that Fundamental had in place, but Fundamental was still doing its scope of work.
Yeah,
So I don't know, like, I just think it's really important, we just had a conversation under the HR file about engaging external consultants to do work for us and the scope of that work. And I think that on this one too, we need to be as equally careful and cognizant of who's doing what, what are we paying them for, and how does that roll, right? So I'm just a little confused about how
I think-
that's going. Because if we approve this now, and we approve this $37,000 here, and Fundamental comes back and says, no, that was part of our scope of work, you've already approved it, council, we want $125,000. That's still $33,000 we're on the hook for here, that the town has to pay out, that we've yet to have a discussion about. So I'm not sure that I'm prepared to support this expense yet, until I know if that scope of work is gonna change. Do you understand where I'm going?
I understand where you're coming from, but these two invoices are for work that's been done by the company that NOAA is supervising, that we went to tender for.
But why is NOAA supervising them if the public, if a project manager is there to do that work? That's the question I have. And why haven't we spoken to, we went to tender on this, why didn't we speak to our project management consultant at the time, say, we don't need those services anymore, before we engaged and spent $37,000 and had our staff person look after it? This is the exact same conversation we just had about HR. The scope of what our new
Right.
person who we've just put in place is compared to the scope of the consultant that we're paying $125,000 to.
I think
We don't want
council,
duplication of services,
I
right?
think council approved a motion to go with MXG, is it, whatever it is?
A Museum Planners Group, MPG,
Museum Planners
yes.
Group,
But my
with the
understanding
knowledge
is they
that
were,
NOAA was gonna be supervising it, right?
so then why didn't we have the discussion what its fundamental scope of work would be and that it would change before that came forward to council for discussion?
The Noah actually only reached out to me this morning when he saw the invoice from Fundamental in the council package, and then he brought it to my attention that Fundamental wasn't actually supervising the new group, and asked for a breakdown of what Fundamental had done. I reached out to our Director of Infrastructure and Public Works, and he's setting up a meeting with Fundamental as the project manager to see what has happened with that contract and what costs should be paid and what costs should not be paid.
Okay. All right.
There's some additional history there, because the way the contract was written for the previous interpretive design, Vigilant felt that, and we terminated that contract with those interpreters. Vigilant wasn't seeing them, that their contract was with us directly. So when we terminated the contract, they actually came to us and asked for the contract to be terminated. So we had no choice but to go out to RFP for interpretation. So Vigilant hasn't done
Not Vigilant.
any work.
Not Vigilant.
No, the previous interpreters,
Oh, okay.
they came to us and we terminated their contract. What I'm saying is that Vigilant hasn't done any work on the interpretation since this new group has been
T1,
them.
yeah, not Vigilant.
No, but what I'm saying, the way, when the original tender went out, it was for back to Councillor Appleby's point, it was for renovation, restoration, and interpretation. The way the contract was written for interpreter, I'll say interpreters number one, is that they were sending the invoices directly to us. Vigilant was having meetings with them, but then the town was taking a more active role in overseeing that project. Then when the manager of the new manager of Heritage, Culture and Information Services came on staff, he started asking questions about project timelines, deliverables, and then the interpreter number one say, well, we can't complete the work without the materials being provided. So they actually asked for us to terminate their contract. That's all I'm saying. We didn't terminate Vigilant, we terminated interpreter number one. So we had to go out and get new interpreters.
I know, but you're confusing me with
The-
Vigilant. What are they
Vigilant
gonna
was
do?
never.
They don't
part
have
of-
anything to do with the interpretation. They did with the renovation and restoration. That was it.
No, they didn't. We never had Vigilant on this.
No.
And fundamental.
It's
Fundamental, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, that's what I
Yes.
was thinking, not
Yeah.
Vigilant, sorry, because I
Yes.
actually used to work, sorry. Thank you, all right.
And the problem that I have here with approving these invoices, I understand the work has been done, but when we did the evaluation to bring in the project management last term council, these specific items that we're talking about now, that our staff are now overseeing and the town is doing, that the project manager is not doing, as I'm understanding tonight, those were parts of the reason why the project manager got the job in the first place, because they had that expertise and niche to do that. That was part of the qualifications that was required for that. And the $125,000 that council has approved for that project manager to do the work that is done, and we've approved that. There's a motion that says we're gonna pay them $125,000, and we've been paying progress payments, which is what this is on that. What I'm saying is that what I'm looking at now, there's a situation where we've got a motion saying we're paying you guys this because what you're supposed to do, and we've agreed this is what you're doing. Somewhere along the way that's changed. Now we're not asking the outside consultant to do what we told them they need to do as part of the scope of work. And it was one of the niche things that in the evaluation got them the job. And now we've got $37,000 worth of invoices here that we're gonna approve, but we're saying, no, we're gonna have a chat with them about taking back $37,000 over here from them, that we haven't even had that conversation. So I mean, I understand there's a lot of moving parts here, but I'm not gonna be able to approve this 37,000 if we don't know that that 37 over there is already something that we're gonna get back for the taxpayers' money.
Okay,
So that's
all
wrong.
right. Any additional comments or questions?
And I hear, and I think I understand where Councillor Appleby is coming from with this. Because if that one wasn't in there for the $37,000, if we haven't had the conversation, we're probably going to end up paying them in addition to this in here. Right? Because that was back in December, that contract with Fundamental was canceled. And why are we still getting? So that's your homework that you're in the process of going back and
Mr. Mayor.
trying to find out now.
The contract that was canceled was Reclaim Design Studios. the
Okay, so
guys
it's
who are
not to
doing the
do with
design.
Fundamental. Okay, completely.
So that's my concern exactly with Deputy Mayor said, that we're gonna pay twice.
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
Quick word and confuse you even more.
go ahead.
So the fundamental is the project manager,
Correct,
as
sorry.
Councillor Appleby is saying. So they followed through the full project all the way through. When we got to the interpretation side of things, which is probably 20% of the full project, that's where we had Reclaim Studios came in under or with Fundamental. So Reclaim Studios, they're doing it for a bit, and then they pulled out of it. They didn't want to do it anymore, so they came out of it. These invoices is not really for the project manager, what I'd say, this is for the installation of the Mummer stuff. So that's a separate pot of money altogether from the project manager side of things. Because there was 200 and something thousand dollars that was set aside for interpretation only in that million plus project that the town took on. So this is coming out of that 200,000, got nothing to do with the $100 and something $1,000. It's totally separate.
Okay, so that's clearer for me then. So these are expenses that would have been incurred,
No matter what.
incurred
No matter what.
No matter
by
what.
a subcontractor for Fundamental. So the question I have then is, why are we saying here that we're going to hold a progress payment to Fundamental if they're the project manager and they are doing the work? Why are we withholding $37,553.25 from them on a approved $125,000 cost of the town?
I think the point is, what I understand, is that this new company that we have, MXG or whatever the name of them are, that's doing the work, we're not brought in under Fundamental. That Fundamental is not supervising the work that they're doing. So that's why they want to pull that invoice, go back and have a discussion with Fundamental about what is their scope of work now, as opposed to what it was before.
Right. So the thing is, like say, Fundamental has gone through 80% of the project, which is construction, that's done. 20% is the interpretation side of things. And that's where would have been the last $37,000 of their contract, basically, right? And, and they did go halfway or more through that section. So for to say that we're gonna go back and look for the 37,000 from Fundamental or not pay them, that's incorrect as well.
Yeah.
Because that's not the conversation I'm gonna have with them.
And
Because
our-
they done, of the 20% left, 20% of the project left, they did 50% of that easy,
Okay.
right?
So there's scope of work you have.
The scope work did change, no doubt, yes.
Okay. All right, I'm good with that. Anyone else?
I don't know if that confuses them more or not.
Any additional questions? All right. So we're voting on those 8 invoices plus these 2? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Those 10, okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, did you get that in? Okay. All right, carry on, sir.
Okay, we'll move on to the July 6th meeting motions. Motion 1, FCM Capital Asset Management Grant Application. FCM is offering a grant program. Do we deal with this?
That's just for notes, man, information
Yeah,
purposes.
yeah. Okay. Motion to purchase of JCB loader. Canoe procurement was used to source the 2022.
Can I
And
ask if
You
there's,
you didn't motion those operating invoices, I don't think.
Yes, I did. Well,
In
go
your
again.
July 6th report? The first 6 or whatever it is?
Under the report, yeah.
Okay. Do you have that done? Or, Ann?
I don't know if we voted on them. Did we vote?
And Counselor Jennifer, second by Counselor Faust.
Okay, for July 6th? All right, okay, sorry, sir.
No problem.
before you go into the purchase of the JCB loader there for canoe procurement engagement, is there conflict for you and I, Mayor? Where canoe was used to source it? I don't think I'm comfortable to vote on that.
Who's it being awarded to? Well, it's being awarded
JCB.
to,
Right, but if it's been done through the canoe procurement,
Yeah,
I'm
you're
not
right.
comfortable to vote on that.
no, you're right, we got an issue with that.
You and I both have a conflict there.
Yeah. So we can't go forward with that motion.
That motion, I can't vote on it.
So, just to make everybody aware, Counselor Appy and I both sit on the board of M&L. M&L does get a percentage of sales through Canoe as part of our agreement with them. So any motions related to Canoe procurement, we have to declare conflict, which we did when the town made the decision to use Canoe procurement. So,
So could we look at calling a special public meeting, because next council meeting is not till August 22nd.
Yep.
Those 10 years, we can't meet.
are they all under Canoe?
No, it's just a loader.
Just the first one? Yeah, we can do that. We can, as soon as we get one more person
Yeah.
to be able to attend a meeting, so that either Councilor Manning or Councilor Pollard, then we can go ahead and do that.
So we're just gonna-
We've got 2 committee of the whole meetings, tomorrow night and Wednesday night, right? Can we do the half hour before one of them?
Can't do it tomorrow, it'd have to be,
So the one for tomorrow night was moved to August 1st.
yeah.
And then the strategic plan one is being moved, so could we do
You could do it,
it Monday night at the beginning?
you could do it Wednesday, because I'm not gonna be here anyway.
We're moving strategic plan now.
What?
We're moving strategic plan.
Right, but I'm saying you could have a special public council meeting on Wednesday, because I don't need to be here anyway, because I'm in a conflict anyhow.
Is there enough notice there?
Councilor Pollard is still out of town.
He could zoom in,
Number
Maybe.
of phones?
or we could ask him.
There's something in the rules and procedures with 24, 48 hours notice for
24.
the special public meeting too.
24 hours.
We'll look at
Yeah.
and see if we can make it happen.
Okay, all right. The sooner better than rather than later, right?
Yeah.
Okay, carry on, sir.
Okay, I believe we're at motion 2.
No, you gotta skip.
Oh, we're
that
not,
one.
yes, that's gonna be deferred. Okay, sorry. Motion 3, tender 2 mid-sized pickups. A tender was issued for purchase of 2 mid-sized pickups for the Public Works Department. There were 2 respondents to the tender. The bids received were Hickman Motors, $122,806 plus HST. Terra Nova Motors, $117,378 plus HST. Both bids were within the budgeted amount. The Corporate Services Committee recommends the awarding of the tender for 2 mid-sized pickups to Terra Nova Motors in the amount of $117,378 plus HST. So moved.
Moved and seconded. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion 4, 1.5 ton water and sewer truck with fiberglass cap and trailer. A tender was issued for the purchase of a 1.5 ton pickup with fiberglass cap and trailer for the Public Works Department. There were 2 respondents to the tender. The bids received were Hickman Motors, $79,678 plus HST. Terra Nova Motors, $82,603 plus HST. Both bids were within budgeted amount. The Corporate Services Committee recommends the awarding of the tender for a 1.5 ton pickup with fiberglass cap and trailer to Hickman Motors in the amount of $79,678 plus HST. So moved.
Moved and seconded. Questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Somebody may correct me, but I believe that's it.
Yep. Looks good.
Unless there's any questions on the other, from documents 3 to 11. There's a lot of numbers in their invoices, that sort of thing, checks. I gotta go home. Any questions?
No.
Okay, that's it.
Good, thank you,
I
sir.
asked them all.
Is that it, Norm?
Economic development. I am.
Norm, did we cover everything? Okay.
Economic development and tourism. Councilor Appleby.
We'll make up the time here. All right, so the minutes for the Economic Development Tourism Committee meeting, which was held on July 7th, are in the package. The mayor made the presentation, the deputy mayor made the presentations for the Youth Entrepreneur Program. I think this is fabulous, and thank you, Mayor, for sharing that information and reading it out earlier. The Pico Ridge Memorial Project, so the draft tender package for the fabrication of that is expected to be received from Mills and Wright. The text will be engraved. There are some typos here that I noticed in the text, so I'll ask that it gets looked at again. There were, I think there was, or maybe I read it wrong. In June of 1978, a plane carrying 10 passengers crashed on Picos Ridge, due west from this site. So that's the typo, a plane. One board on, so it should be on board, were members of the Historic Sites and Monuments Board of Canada, including Bill Manning, first mayor of Torbay. All souls aboard were lost. The monument serves as a space of reflection and tribute to Bill Manning and the other passengers who worked in the field of historic preservation. Their legacy is one that endures today in our appreciation and celebration of our local heritage. It's possible that the typos were just there when they were typed in, but just to make sure that's right. There are 10 vendors for the community market, so please share, tweet, reach out to your friends and anybody who's selling things to see if anybody wants to sell their wares at the community market. The community profile and business how-to guide are being undertaken by the EDO. And under business supports, there was a call to businesses for the July Northeast Avalon Times newspaper to support their information to submit their information for the online business directory. And there was also a request put out for the registration business passport program. It wasn't something that was taken up on, but it's something that we don't want to let go. I think it's really important. The idea and the concept was that businesses could sign up, that residents could go to the businesses and say, hey, I was at Traditional, I went to Tor Baker, I went to Mary Brown's, I went to PJ's. It drives people there, and then they could qualify to win something at the end for going to our local businesses. So it's a great idea. We're going to revisit it, go back and have more conversations about how we can drive, more people to our businesses and participate. The regional wayfinding update is there. And then there's some information under tourism for the National Tourism Week, provincial tourism opportunities session that Deanne attended, and the Year of the Garden initiatives. I gotta tell you, I'm loving the tweets, I'm loving the pictures, I'm loving the partnership that we have with Bay Roberts and all the work that we're doing on that is fabulous. And also Deanne had shared that she had contacted the Office of Ottawa City Council about the Tulip Initiative as well, which I thought was pretty cool. So yeah, if anybody has any questions, by all means, let me know. Otherwise, I'm gonna make this short and sweet and sum up my report. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions? No? All right.
There you go.
Heritage, history, heritage, culture, and arts.
Okay.
Deputy Mayor.
Trying to find some more information, but anyway, all right. Sorry. Just bear with me for a second. Something is going on. All right. No. That was like that a few minutes ago. Okay. All right. We had our meeting on July 7th. Councillor Tapper and Noah. Operations report is there. We had the grand opening on the 2nd, which was a great weekend at home. The weather cooperated, and the museum received almost 400 visitors over the course of the day. And museum now has full summer staff and complement, and welcome, is it Piers, Lily, and Jack Slaney. And ministerial visit on the 11th, the Minister of Tourism, Arts, Culture, Recreation, toured History House and attended a short presentation on the Mannion project. History House operations are on budget. Federal government has announced another round of museum assistance program recovery fund for heritage organizations. And museum services operation, the Torbay is in the World Gallery, is now open to the public. Between August and November, 2 more permanent galleries will be open to the public and contain 5 new exhibits. The Mannion collection exhibit, a special exhibit promoting the Mannion project, will be installed in the Jacob Bradley Archives and Genealogy Room and open to the public on August 26th. I'm going back on something here now, and let me find out where I'm down to. Collection management, after extensive research, manager of Heritage, Culture, and Information Services has selected collections management software that meets the unique needs of the History House. And what else have I got in here? Oh, he was interested, he talked about the typewriter collection, and they have 5 typewriters there, and they found somebody who can actually repair them, which will be quite nice. The seniors tea, they had their seniors tea party on July 3rd, and that went over really well. There was a lot of excitement there. It probably were a few people that came that hadn't been registered, so, and then luckily a few other people didn't show up, but the place was full, and it was so nice to see people moving from one room to another and going in and meeting people that they haven't seen in a long time, so that was really, really nice to see. We've got it in here and it's named, but I don't know, I think there's an email out on it, but we're referring to, or History House and Museum is referring to it as a time in Torbay, and I've got it there to touch on later. But I'll ask now that I'm in here, CAO, to update or have somebody update or maybe touch base with Noah, because on Facebook, on social media, it says that this is on the go between July 22nd to the 24th. And it's storytelling, but it's only in here in those minutes are the actual times that it's taking place. And I just went in and checked the post that the town put up today. So storytelling session is on Friday, this Friday, 22nd, from 6:30 to 8:30. Saturday morning is a children arts and crafts between 10 and 2. And Saturday evening, it's Pride in July, and it's all ages. It's a drag show from 7 to 9 p.m. And Sunday, it's picnic in the gardens. And from what I understand, you'll go there and you'll get a blanket and a picnic. You can get a sandwich or drink and some treats, and then you can take that and go away and have it. Is that your understanding as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and none of that information, I can't find that information anywhere. So when we go in and just look on anything that's put on the site, it just says more information to come. And unless you all go in, I guess on the History House Museum, maybe it's in there, you won't find the information that I just.
It has AM and PM, so we'll give it.
Yes, it's not in there, and even this about a picnic in the gardens, I think that it's really important to let people know that you pick up, is my understanding, you will pick up, some treats or whatever, and a blanket, and I think a little basket, and you go off and you have your picnic. So, anyway, I think this is really, good, and the other thing that it's not, you won't find it in here on this.
That was an event that was
Yeah.
developed that.
Yeah, so anyway, there's a lot of things happening, but it's really important to get the message out there and to share this as much as possible, because I understand this is supposed to be a beautiful week, and it'll be a shame if our residents and people, don't know that this is happening. Maybe.
Yeah, so the picnic one, and all that, the information related to that is on the town services, e-services. Talks about,
If
right.
people don't go in
I'm just saying that's where it
I
is.
know, but don't get me going on
Cause you
that.
gotta get tickets,
I
right?
know, but don't get me going on. Because people don't know, I don't know where to go to find some of this information. People are asking me. I just went in and looked, and I couldn't find anything with the times that on that. And I was at Costco this afternoon, and I had 2 people come to me and say to me about the dance and where to get tickets. And somebody said, oh, e-services. They haven't been able to go in and get anything on e-services.
Right, you can
I
get them
know,
over
that
at
was-
Common,
I know,
right?
but again, people that are familiar with it know about e-services, but for the residents, and I feel that I'm pretty good at going in and find stuff, but anyway, and, I'm not going to be looking on e-services and buy tickets if I don't know that it's in there to buy tickets on. Anyway, the 50th anniversary of Mayor's Garden Party is on August 2nd. And in this document, again, it says, I think seniors, but that needs to be changed to adults. There's no seniors or what have you on it. It's,
It is changed to adults on
Yeah.
Facebook and the website.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing about doing print. As soon as you do print, it's obsolete or things change.
yeah. Anyway, August movie nights, is planned for August and September, and Torbay Land and Sea Festival. Marketing materials and the finalized event schedule will be made available to the public soon. The 3-day festival will include a special exhibit, the launch of the Manning Project, living history exhibits on the grounds and in the museum, a heritage tour of Torbay, and a community meal. The festival will be held in partnership with the Folk Arts Council and the Newfoundland Environmental
Cool, lots of stuff on the go.
There's a lot of activities and everything taking place basically this week and from here on in middle of August. And I'll touch on it again later after Councillor Goss does his update in recreation.
Could I just mention one more thing in relation to the August 26th event, the Mannion launch? I just found out an hour before our meeting this evening that there are 3 people coming over from the board, the Irish Newfoundland board over in Waterford. 3 board members coming, but the Secretary of State to the Prime Minister of Ireland is also coming for that launch. Yeah, so that's great news. They're having, our sister board as we call them, they're having a launch on September the 5th, and myself and another board member on our own dime are going over to that as well, just to have some representation from the province. So when we're talking about the 26th, like we did meet with the tourism minister last week. He's going to be out of town for that week, so you know I think we should extend, and I put it out to the minister that maybe we should extend an invite to the premier because of this, you know.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Oh,
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
point.
Can I ask a couple questions on the report? First question I have, it says in here we have 2 staff people. From what I can see here, we have 1 student placement position approved, and the provincial one wasn't. Where's the resources coming from for that? Is that coming from the Canada Summer Job Allocation? I don't know. I'm just curious to understand the complement, because my understanding is we have 1 position approved under the Canada Summer Jobs. For the History House?
I don't get the confirmation with summer, with student, with students.
Okay, my recollection of that was 1, so if you could get that for me, that'd be great. I just wanted to see, because there's $6,000 there under the budget for that, so I understood that it was 1 allocation for the History House. The second question I have is around the grants. It says here that the federal government has announced another round of Museum Assistant Program Recovery Funds for heritage organizations funding. But the question is, does the History House now qualify for that funding? Because the town is the organization, it's not a separate board. So I think we need to check to make sure
We already know that it
that
qualifies.
the town qualifies. Okay, because I just wanted to be sure that as a municipality, we can qualify for that. And that was one of the main concerns I had when the change was made, was to make sure that we could qualify for funding, because that was the idea of being set up as a separate organization. So I just wanted to ask that question, be
It
clear.
used to be that way,
Yeah,
and then, according to the presentation that Noah gave us, a lot of museums like ours were really struggling to stay afloat, to keep boards in place and all this kind of stuff. And it was difficult for them to be able to get the grants. So what they did was they changed the requirements to allow now municipalities that have museums to be
Yeah.
able to operate the same way.
perfect. So I just want to make sure it meets the criteria. That's the question I had on that. And the last piece is a time in Torbay. Have we reestablished a partnership with the time in Torbay?
No, I think this is just I don't know,
So-
he used that phrase, but we never used our logo or anything like that.
Yeah, so.
Probably was bad choice of words.
So that's a concern for me, because the Time in Torbay is a separate organization that was established by community volunteers. It has its own identity, it has its own logo, and for the town to call an event a Time in Torbay without a Time in Torbay's prior approval is a red flag, a concern for me. And also, if it was me and I was a member of the community, and like the deputy mayor said, was looking to find a Time in Torbay events, because we've all been excited about the great work a Time in Torbay did in the past, you would think that you would look there for their information on their website, their social media, and their communication. So I would caution the town from now on in using a Time in Torbay without reestablishing that partnership. There's, to my understanding, still people who are interested to be a part of that. There's still money in the bank there, and there is absolutely, I think, an opportunity to establish a partnership if we reach out and have that conversation to see where they want to have a part in this. I mean, if we're talking about a festival with the Irish one, Torbay Land and Sea Festival, I mean, that could be a perfect opportunity to reach out and say, do you want to form this partnership? Do you want to work with us? How can we do that? And get back to the conversations of a terms of reference and how would that function? I think that's been something that's been hanging for too long without having some resolution to it. And I was a member of that board in 2015 when it was struck, but I stepped away from it in 2016. So I think that we should be very careful at using an independent group's name, and I think we should have that conversation again about reaching out, whether it's the History House or Community Services or however we do that. I do feel that the town should reach out and have a discussion with them about partnerships and where to from there
Yep.
to see
No, I
what.
understand.
We got a number of the members of that former group as part of the
Torbay 50 committee.
50th anniversary committee. And back and forth talking, and that even from our initial meeting that came up. And I guess there has been some discussion about the time in Torbay having been used. And we weren't aware, I wasn't aware of it when it came up and we saw it advertised, was the first time that we seen it. But we had a planning meeting last night and it was discussed there.
Okay.
All right,
So
okay.
everybody is aware of it, and it's after raising some eyebrows, let's say, when that name went out there.
So is this, just last question then, Deputy Mayor, what you're saying to me that our Torbay 50 committee, who met last night, was not aware of the planning for the Tom and Torbay festivities that we see here?
That's what I'm.
This is museum,
But
Go ahead, Mary,
shouldn't
sorry.
all of that be under one
Go ahead.
umbrella of planning for the Torbay 50 if the town is leading it?
Councillor Appleby, I couldn't agree with you more. And it's been something, I might as well put it out there right now, and Paul, I'm not gonna pick on Paul, who's down there in the corner, but she's part of our committee. And we've been talking about having something go out to the residents, involving all of this with regards to the 50th anniversary, okay, which is one committee. Then we see it going out, and I know a little bit about it because I'm on the History House and Museum, and then knowing about the Tiny Torbay, it should go out on this. And then as well as the Land and Sea Festival that's in here, because that is my understanding, we have come home year funding for that NOAA is, and I'm trying to get something. So I'm working with the CAO to try to get all of us together for a meeting, so that we all can come to the table and sit down and get something. Because residents really don't care who's on the 50th Celebrations Committee, and who's on the Time and Torbay Committee, and who's on the Land and Sea Committee. Like, so I couldn't agree with you more. They should all be put in there, and there should be something when they go in on the social media, something in there. And as well, more important than this, I was gonna get this, into this after Ward did his presentation, but it all needs to come together so that people can look at it, and then we have all of this other information for programs and that on top of it, and it's not happening.
Wow, okay, so can I request,
so.
can I
before-
just request, last
Go
point,
ahead.
that there's a conversation held where all of the separate planning groups who are independently planning festivities come together in a joint meeting, as the deputy mayor
That's-
just said.
That's already down
And
to
have
an email
that-
about it tonight.
That's all, there's an email already sent requesting
Well, since
that
we can, supposed to be
Before
before,
the meeting.
meeting.
well, anyway.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that
I am
email.
not aware of it.
Yeah,
because
and I'm
I
not
asked for
aware of it either. But I feel it's very important, because if I was planning Torbay 50 celebrations and working hard as a committee member to do that, and then I see other things being planned underneath the town, especially with an
Well,
organization
I
I'm
can
part
tell you-
of,
I can tell you right now.
I would be
that
raising eyebrows
At the
too.
meeting we were at last week,
Yeah,
I was there, Deputy Mayor was there, Councilor Tepper was there.
yeah.
Barry, who's the co-chair of the committee, has no concerns with what Noah's doing at the History House. He said, we're planning our stuff, he can plan his stuff. He has no concerns with that whatsoever.
Nor, and
And
I
he
have
should
to
really.
say this, Craig, in all due respect, nor should Barry have any
Right.
concerns about it. He's the chair of this.
Yes.
All I'm saying as a counselor, and I said that night at the meeting
It's
when you
nice to have it all
were there, and
together.
Don there, and Councillor Tapper there. I'm looking at exactly what Councillor Appleby picked up on, is that we need to have something that highlights everything that we're doing.
I agree.
And I can see that, no, it's not a concern with Barry, but it's important for Barry to meet Noah
Yes.
and to get everybody together and to talk about this so that we've got it
Absolutely.
all,
Right.
you know, like I said, a few posters put up around, and, you know, we start on this on Friday night or Saturday night with the sports reunion.
Yep.
And it's so important, and people are still looking at me and saying, what, when is it?
But see, that's the point that I'm trying to make. If one group knows what the other group is doing, then they can cross-reference,
Yes.
cross-share, cross-promote, support each other, plan, so they're not planning against it around each other's time. And the reason I'm asking for that collective conversation is to make sure that we're all pushing the same direction, pulling the same oar. And I'm just asking for clarity and
No, we're gonna have
communication so that everybody knows what's coming down the pipe, and they can point each other to where they need to be, and it not be like the deputy mayor saying, going, I don't know where to point you because I'm not sure. So that's the reason I made that request.
Yeah, that's
but-
fair, that's
yeah.
fair.
Thanks.
I
Great.
I agree with you 100%, everything that's said, because, you know, we got to recognize that we got a lot going on for the next 2 months, and we got to, you know, get as many people, like the opening of History House, it was a great day, successful. Saturday night coming, the reunion, you know, word is out, it's going to be, you know, well attended, same way with the dance. But we got to ensure, and again, getting to the festival in August, try to get, you know, the same news out from every group. So we got to have that meeting.
Yeah.
You know, we got to have that meeting with all the groups, including Derek Diamond. Like, he's always asking me what's on the go. He's chair of the Folk Arts Council, you know.
Yeah.
For the community groups like that,
Yeah.
that
And
are
that-
important, you know.
Like we had,
Right.
I'll use this because residents are saying to me, so if anybody is watching it, this came out the 15th of July, the Times. The next one is not out the 15th of August. A lot of what our anniversary and the
Yeah.
fireworks and all that is all over by the next time that comes out.
Mhm.
So when we say yes is in the Times, so much of it is in the Times, but, you know, next one that comes out in August, almost gotta have, you know, I don't even know if there's anything left, but then that'll have the dinner theater.
Yeah.
Wherever I'm going, people are asking me about the dinner theater, where's the tickets? They all wanna make sure they're getting
Well,
tickets.
that's good.
Like, this is
Lots
so
of interest.
high, upbeat, and so many
Yeah.
good things happen.
Yeah.
So we need to let people know about it in different ways, right?
Yep.
Last
Agree.
point.
We are doing that. I have to qualify that deputy mayor. We've got a website. We've put out 3 grant cards. We've got social media. We've got special Facebook groups for cross-referencing. As I said earlier tonight, as soon as you put something in print, changes are made. We're all here for the same purpose, and I just want to clarify that staff are working to put things out. I mean, there's a committee meeting held, and then they change their decision. Something's already gone out in the mail, so then we got to correct it.
Well, yeah, not necessarily. I have to agree to disagree with some of those comments, you know, but anyway.
All right.
I just wanted to say something in here when we talk about, and Noah had asked, I guess, with the July 2nd and the History House haven't opened. He wanted to thank, and it was Mayor Scott and especially Councillor Tapper and Tony, but also Derek Donner and Torbay Folk Arts for the incredible help and support, Brenda Rowe and the Artist of Torbay for their submissions to the opening, and the History House staff, Donna Norby and Sydney Bills for their many days of hard work, Jerry Hayes for his many volunteer hours, Lara Maynard for the continued leadership and support, and the Museum Advisory Committee for their leadership and support. Because I was there like a couple of days before that opened, and I was thinking, there is no possible way is this going to be able to be open in a couple of days' time. And for the work that went into that by Noah and these people that he mentioned, and I guess the consultant or what have you, was just amazing to go back there on Saturday morning and see the place transform the way that it was. So
I-
It was a pretty big highway, and
I second
I'm
that.
so pleased to be part of
I
it.
second that, because when I left there Friday night, my time I leave, 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
And Ralph left before that, and Noah and
Derek, yeah.
and the gentleman from the company that was doing the work were still there, and they were there till well after 2. So there was a lot of hard work put in there by a lot of people, and I thank them for doing that, so.
Can I just ask one last question on that joint meeting? Could we invite the Time and Torbay Committee? If,
I think that they're already part
yeah,
of it.
I just think that it's important if there's a link to be made there, and if there's moving forward, we're looking for resources and engage in them, that
Well,
we
when we
extend
first
them there.
started, like Councillor Goss, we invited them to our initial meeting, and we had a good discussion as to, and the thing was, they have money in their account, like you were saying,
Yeah.
but there was nobody willing to make a decision of where that money went. So we had to look at our own budget, and we said, well, we're going to be within budget anyway, we may not even need it, So we carried on. So, there was contact initially made, and,
Yeah.
and they are helping out, individual wise.
Okay,
Yeah,
A
okay,
lot of the members actually concur.
yeah.
okay,
All right.
thank you.
Okay, thank you. Recreation, Community Services. Councilor Goss. Oh. Go ahead, we'll do Public Works after. Carry on.
I can't hear Councillor Goss.
We all good?
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
we're
ahead.
good.
All right. Just program event updates, registration is still ongoing for summer programs, events, residents can register by visiting the Torbay website, townsweet.com/events. The department held a very successful Canada Day event, which included a sunrise ceremony, community breakfast, family fun day. There were more than 800 residents who took part throughout the day. The director would like to thank staff who worked on the event, as well as the Torbay 50th Committee members who assisted in the planning and event of the day as well. The most up-to-date schedule for the Torbay 50th birthday can be found on the torbay.ca site. Torbay 50 calendar events, July 2022 PDF. Our committee would like to acknowledge and congratulate Abigail Hammond and Debbie Barrett on their Chief McGraw Awards on this huge accomplishment, and encourage them to continue giving back to the community. This is very large. The department is seeking volunteer coaches for the Killing Coast Games, which run from August 21st to the 25th. For more information, please submit some interest, contact kcommon@torbay.ca. Just of note, with two children in that last year, there was a lot of times that there was no coaches. So if there is somebody who wants to volunteer for that, by all means, please jump on board. It's great for the kids, it's great for the community, and it's really good for our youth. The deadline to apply for a Silver Spade Award is July 20th. The categories include Best Residential Property, Best Commercial Property, Best Vegetable Garden, Best New Garden, and Best Overall. For more information, please visit the nomination site on the Torbay website. Nominations now open for Silver Spades Awards. The splash pad opened up on June 29th and is now open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. till dusk. There's been a new sign at Torbay Commons, and a sign is scheduled to be installed in 20 weeks, permitting there no shipping or weather delays. And the contractor has been instructed to hold off on his application to Torbay website until further notice. Also of note, the department received a request for donation softball field for a week in September for choices of youth. The request was forwarded to Corporate Services Committee. There's been an update regarding the community garden fence that was being torn down due to safety concerns. This was put on hold, and the CO met with the representatives of the garden committee and is looking at a plan to replace the fence that fell down in the area. Lastly, registration is still open for the garden bed at Torbay Commons Community Garden. To register, please contact tnichols@torbay.ca. and so is my report.
All right, any questions?
So I just wanted to add in here a couple of things that for the mayor's garden party, anybody that's looking at this here, Barry just, we talked about it, and just to put it out there is another way. It's for adults, not age 55 plus. And the sports reunion and the dance, we need to have it put on posters, put on our website, wherever, that it's a cash bar and there's no ATM machine. And there's debit available, or debit available at site. And the cornhole event is on the 29th, and it's the same thing, because what we're anticipating is people are going to come with no cash. I mean, most people don't go anywhere with cash. And these are things that could be updated in here, but just in case. And the skateboard demo and competition on the 30th is for 3 age groups, 7 to 10, 11 to 3, and 14 to 18. And that's registration required. And sports competition July 30th at the Common Gym. Drop-in event for youth. And again, the decision has been made for the Come Home Here dance, and it's the brew, or not that, it's not even it's brew crew to the entertainment with gym theme and kitchen party. So that's the lineup for that night. And I know that as of today, there was still difficulty in getting the tickets. So, so Z-Services is obviously still down, must be.
So staff are looking at e-services, there's print tickets as well too, and there's posters already in manufacture. They're gonna be delivered and installed tomorrow.
Okay, can I get a couple of them, because I wanna put it in the dugouts into the, on the field, so that people will know.
Staff will take care of that. We'll have them installed. You don't need to do that.
They're gonna put them in there themselves?
Yes, yep.
Very good. And there's, Blue Rec, but that's something different. And I can't believe the hype that's out there for the dinner theater. Like, that's all really, really good. And, so there's some changes anyway to the times and everything that's on here, so hopefully by the end of the week, we'll get something, new out for people that are not on Facebook and that can see these and put it around into the various places around that, indicate that they'd be interested in having it on the premises. So,
Okay,
Can we add that it's cash only to the ticket, Mayor? People know then, they buy their tickets and it says right on the ticket, cash only. So that way it's clear, you're not getting people showing up complaining and being upset. Deputy Mayor's right, there's so much hype and excitement about the good stuff that's happening here. We don't wanna have one of our highlight events have an issue with that. So if we could put on the tickets that it's cash bar only, that could help solve that issue. And I just wanna ask quickly, the Killicoast Games is in here, but with all the other excitement and hype, you know, I have kids at that age who have participated or may participate, and families might be thinking about all the other cool stuff. We're not maybe thinking about the last part of August for that. So could we use our social media to share the
Yeah,
information
please.
so that people, you know, we're looking for coaches, and if your kid wants to get in there, sign up now, that kind of a thing?
yeah.
So
And
just
there
to
is,
share
there is
that.
some communication there between the committee and staff about doing something in particular for the Killicoast kids to come into the ball field and get their uniforms, meet the coaches.
Yeah, so, but it'd be nice to have, like, I haven't seen it, maybe I missed it, but some communication around that, so parents are thinking
All right,
about
yeah,
that.
the 13, the other thing in there that, Councillor Goss mentioned, and there's never been much attention put around it, the Silver Spades, the nomination, they used to be our prior beautification. The deadline to nominate somebody is on the 20th, so I really would encourage, people to get out, and while you're out on your walks and walking about or what have you, and you see somebody with a beautiful garden, by all means, nominate them and, spread the word on that. That's the deadline, is the 20th. Thank you.
okay. Go ahead, Jim.
I just wanted to add the registration for Killicoast Games has ended, but it's extended for any kid that missed it.
So if there's anyone out there that still wants to register, they can. They just might not get a T-shirt, but that's
So
no
that's a
big
really
deal.
good point, because I didn't know as a counselor, and I have 2 kids in that age group that I'd like to have had put in there. But for me to do that, I've got to ask permission of their dad, then see about, so I think that we need to share that information
I
as
saw
well.
that information somewhere the other day online, didn't
Yeah, I haven't seen it, so I think it'd be great for us to share that stuff through our town channels if we could.
I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Infrastructure and Public Works.
All right, here we go. I get asked a lot of questions in everybody else's presentations, but I go through mine real quick when I
Because
get
you're
to
the kings of turning an hour meeting into a 4 hour.
I tell you. All right, so the date of the meeting was July 6th. Councillor Pollard and myself joined our director, Brian Winter. We talked about the flow meter project. The leak detection is completed. The intake extension investigations, flow meters, and SCADA system. We talked about the sidewalk project, that's in here. The multi-year capital works projects, that information's in here. Stormwater mitigation, again, that's all there for anyone. If you got questions, let us know. The open space and trails are in here. The generator project trail development discussions happened. We talked about the War Memorial Site project, and our understanding was that that would all be done by Remembrance Day Director. Yep. Water and wastewater projects are all here. For anybody who wants to ask any questions, feel free. And then the other items are speed coming and actions that are be taken there. We talked about staff reviewing Forest River Road. We had it brought up and looked at it and talked about having a removable speed bump implemented. So have we had that done since? Thank you, Director, that's awesome. To see if that can help curb some of the issues there. And we also have a letter that the mayor sent off about what's happening in the Ballin line to the minister of the provincial government, waiting for a reply on that. The fleet purchasing we did tonight. If there's any questions, please let me know. And if not, so ends my report. Thank you.
Okay, any questions?
Okay, I got a question on what's in there about more for on the water conservation, where we do with our water.
So, I just, as you know, I just got back off vacation. So, last year when we issued our first water ban, we were at about 44 inches below the freeboard. Right now, we're at 24 inches, so we're still 20 inches above where we put our ban in last year. So we're monitoring it pretty much every day, and if we continue to see it drop and we're not having any rain, we will look at probably be a precautionary water conservation first, like we did last year. And with last year, surprisingly, it was done on July the 20th, so we're right approaching that side again. And the actual ban coming in August of last year, August 15 or something like that, I think it was.
Pretty good, because I thought
Yeah.
this summer was much drier than last year.
Yeah, and we didn't have a lot of snow, or no snow really, so.
We did have a lot of rain in early spring.
Yeah, we did have some rain early year, yeah. And we just located a leak on Indian Mill Lawn as well, which the guys are gonna be fixing later this week, so.
Good.
So that may be somewhere issue of drop, but yeah, I think we're approaching it, but we're not there yet, so,
Perfect, thank you.
yeah.
I identified a leak in my pool. I gotta patch on it, but it drains and, anyway.
Thank you, Brian.
It's getting late now, I'm tired. I worked up late last night, so. All right, where are we to? Liaison committees. Atlantic Mayor's Congress, the meeting is August 25th to the 27th. I'm not gonna be able to go, unfortunately, because we got stuff on the go here in town that I do not wanna miss. If anybody on council is interested in going to Shediac, New Brunswick, in my place, feel free. Let me know by, what's today, Monday? Let me know by Friday so that I can go back to them and advise them if I'm coming or not. I know I'm not, but if somebody else wanted to go. Intergovernmental affairs, to Councillor Appy's point about the letter to the department about speed zones, stuff on Ballin Line, plus other speed calming measures we asked about. MHA Wall is still following up on that. Every now and then I have a chat with him and see where he's to, and he's really good about getting back to me. All right, Jack Byrne Arena. Ward, ending of report.
We did meet there about 3 to 4 weeks ago. waiting on the bid, but it was a very good meeting. We finally got it in at our AGM, so I will update our council when I receive the minutes from Kathy.
All right, sounds good, thank you. Northeast Avalon Joint Council, Deputy Mayor.
Next meeting is the middle of September.
All right. Royal Newfoundland Constabulary, I did receive this from them, thanking the town as a certificate of appreciation for supporting the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary Association's 31st Annual Community Guide. And the above named, us, Town Torbay, has shown outstanding community support towards suicide prevention awareness. And they sincerely appreciate our generous support and thank you for our participation. So I have that magazine, that community guide in my office if anybody wants to see it. Feel free to, I'll put it in the mail slot outside my office and you can go ahead and read away. Torbay Volunteer Fire Department. Councillor Manning is not here. The minutes are attached. What I will say is today, the fire department put out a notification of fire ban, that permits are not being issued, open fires are not permitted. Before I know I'm gonna get the questions, and I spoke to Chief today, that does not include your fire pit on your deck with your propane or your one in your yard with your proper spark arrest piece on top, so that you're still allowed to do that. But be careful, because it's like a tinderbox. Okay, so the minutes are attached for the fire department, and I'm sure Councillor Manning will update next time around. Urban Municipalities Committee, our next meeting is in Grand Falls, Windsor, August 11th to the 13th, right in the middle of my holidays, and I know that I was not happy about that, but I'm looking forward to it, and I'll report back then. So, that's it. Notice of motion, none. New business. Councillor Tapper, let me see.
Pass.
You passed. Councillor Eppley.
Thank you. I just wanted to put a big thank you out to the people who are volunteering to run the sports organizations, the Soccer Association and the Softball Association. They're doing great work. And there was a tournament last weekend that myself and the Deputy Mayor's grandson, my son, and she can't, she was even in the stands, I was chasing her down. But and she has the same nail color that I do. She pointed that out in the stands too, just saying we're twinsies. But I think it's really important to recognize the work of these volunteers, because they're showing up of their own free time, and they're cheering on our kids. They're bringing treats to the field. They're taking time to build their confidence in ways that it's just magical. And I just want to make sure that they get recognized for that. So just a quick shout out to say thank you to them, and also want to thank the MNL staff and board for the retreat that we had there a couple weeks back. A lot of really good conversations about really good stuff. So I'll leave it at that. And I hope everybody has a safe and awesome summer. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Deputy Mayor.
I just want to, without getting into everything that Trina just said about this past weekend, with the tournament and even with the house league. This is my first time being involved within, and it's amazing the amount of time these people are putting into volunteering with
Can turn on the microphone.
with those kids. It's been really, to me, uplifting to look at what they're all doing in there, right? And, yeah, I seen Trina there, so I said, no, can't get away from her. Anyway, a big thank you to everybody that was involved with making that opening of the History House such a success. It was such, I guess, wonderful opportunity, and I felt so much pride in being there for the opening, and to look at the mayor actually cut the ribbon for that, where it's been so long taking place. But again, the amount of work that took place behind the scenes, and to, again, the organizers of the, everything to do with July 1st, without me getting into in case I miss anybody. Everything was so well attended, and I know that the weather has a big part with that, but it was fabulous to see everything taking place the way that it has been. So big thank you to everybody that's involved with all of it.
Okay. Councilor Goss, did you pass?
Yeah.
All right, me. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly go through this. I just wanna thank everybody, as I always do, staff here at the town and council, for working hard over the last month since I've been here for a meeting. And of course, every day you guys are working hard for the residents. Thank you to our Torbay 50 committee and the members of the council and the residents and everybody who show up to our events. I look forward to seeing you. I try and make it to every single one. I've been doing pretty good so far. But the ones where there's two happening at the same time, I'm gonna be hard pressed to be at both, but I'll try my best. One last thing that I'm gonna say before we go on, and there's been reports lately of drownings of people. And I will only say this and take this away with you tonight. Please be careful when you're out in our swimming holes, and not just ours, but in Flat Rock and Pooch Cobalt, all around the region. Be careful what you're doing. A lot of us have kids now, they got cars, they can get further in the backyard now, and where you can't keep your eyes on them. Speak to your children, make them aware of the dangers, particularly of that whirly hole down in Flat Rock. You know, Mayor Thorne is always on talking about it. Please, please, please be careful. And, you know, it's summertime, it's hot, and I know you want to have fun, but, you know, we all want to see everybody's kids and stuff the next day after they go out and have fun. So please, and if I'll leave you with anything, that's what I want to leave you with. Q&A. Anybody? Paula? No? Sure? I got one on my email? Oh, good. All right, so our next public council meeting is scheduled to take place at Monday, August 22nd, 2022, right here. But there might be one sooner, you never know, depending on what comes up. So with that, I would ask for, I was gonna talk about this, but deputy mayors have to go through both sides of the whole sheet. So everybody knows everything that's going on. And, but I encourage people, you know what, there's a lot of people working very hard in this building, volunteers working on a committee to plan events and put them off to celebrate our town's, our culture, our heritage, our birthday of 50 years. Please go out and support those volunteers that are supporting the community and make this a big success for them and for yourselves. So with that, I would take a motion to adjourn, please. Moved, seconded, all in favor? Okay. Thank you.